And on this last episode of Lessons from the Entrepreneur in the month of November, we speak with Dr. Stephen Ojwang, the founder of Premier Care Hospital, a one-stop medical facility for screening, imaging, and treatment that has the people at the center of its operations. Dr. Ojwang narrates the journey of setting up the medical facility and the challenges he has encountered as a medical entrepreneur. This story coming right up on tonight's episode of Lessons from the Entrepreneur.
Stephen Ojwang is a change catalyst. He believes in empowering people around him to reach their full potential so that together we can transform the communities around us. I believe that's my God-given purpose. I serve here at Premier Care Hospital Group as the CEO and founder, and I'm married to Lois with 3 children. And we started this journey in 2014 with our first unit in Kitengela. And the inspiration behind the Premier Care journey is that we are here to provide quality healthcare to the underserved peri-urban communities, because 80% of the population have to travel for over 2 hours in East Africa, would you believe it, to access quality healthcare. So Premier Care is here to solve that problem by increasing access, thereby saving lives, saving time and money, even as people seek to access quality healthcare.
So welcome to Lessons from the Entrepreneur. My name is Melissa Odori. That resounding introduction by Dr. Stephen Ojwang of Premier Care Hospital Group. We know the field of medical care in Kenya has been saturated a lot, especially with those players in the private sector. The government is doing its best to make sure that our medical and our health needs are taken care of. However, players in the private sector also have a role to help us to ensure that the gap that we need our health care needs taken care of is bridged very well and taken care of. Hence, the need to have facilities such as Premier Care to take care of us. We're today at Syokimau, one of the Premier Care branches that is situated strategically actually on that superhighway where you land and you get your medical needs taken care of. And Dr. Ojwang is going to tell us why this strategic location, first of all. I'm actually preempting, but I know Syokimau is one of your youngest babies. Tell me about when you started until Syokimau.
It's been quite a journey. We started off in 2014 with a diagnostic center, which comprised of initially imaging services. Being a radiologist by training, we started off with an ultrasound, and then through partnerships and strategic engagements with our key business partners who are our suppliers, we were then able to roll out the other different departments. So we started there. We added later a CT scan and an X-ray, as well as lab services. Purely by God's grace, it's been a journey of faith. And then from there, we moved on, and we were able to gain traction and credibility with our suppliers, who then allowed us to provide the people of Garissa with our CT scan services, because previously they did not have access. And people would travel for more than 6 hours to get a scan done. You can imagine if someone had an accident and they needed quick care, they would leave the surgeon who has an answer to their problem, but does not have the diagnostic information of what's happening to their abdomen or their brain, for example. So they would send them all the way to Thika or Nairobi. So when we landed there, we were then able to reduce that gap, that journey to less than 6 hours, so that people would then be able to access CT scan services there, and therefore access the other levels of quality care, be it in the acute setting or even oncology or cancer services. So from there, we, by God's grace, were then able to move to Narok in 2017, where we had learned from our mistakes, kept getting better, and we we changed our model to incorporate other colleagues and other specialists so that the patient would then find a one-stop shop model whereby they don't have to go to another facility, for example, to get quality healthcare. Because as part of the cost of accessing healthcare, there's a very huge element of the time lost between referrals across different facilities. And also you can imagine, especially in our populations, one person going to hospital ordinarily would probably, in the areas that we serve, would probably go with 2-3 other people. So essentially that means 2-3 other people who are out of work for that 1 or 2 days. So there's lots of productivity. So we were, by God's grace, able to bridge that gap in Narok as well, where we grew from a diagnostic center to an inpatient facility, which has been running there for the last 2 years. And then here we are in Syokimau.
So this is the third one?
This probably would be the fourth one was in Loitoktok, which is, we went there specifically to provide access to, it's a rural setting. So we were doing a lot more of CSR there, because we believe we are called to reach out to the underserved nations with the medical care. So that was more of a CSR. We were there from 2018 till earlier this year when we shut down the branch, because it was a tough lesson there because of market dynamics. We were not able to adequately service that market. And it was also a little different from our business model, but we discovered avenues to allow people to still continue getting care there in different ways.
So perhaps my question would be, for you, having come from a medical training, and then a lot of doctors would go into, of course, the government facility to work there for a while, perhaps open a small clinic, and then now go into their own thing fully. For you, did you do that transition, or how did you transition?
So immediately after finishing medical school, I had the privilege of starting my master's almost immediately in radiology. And there we always had this dream of starting a diagnostic center with my colleagues. So immediately after that, I worked briefly in the private sector in Dar es Salaam. I didn't quite have the privilege to work in a government hospital, except during internship after my medical degree, the initial medical degree. So I would say my path has been a little different. I had the chance of taking the leap of faith straight from having come from a private sector setting, private hospital setting, straight into entrepreneurship. And arguably I have always been an entrepreneur. I used to do a bit of entrepreneurial work back in college. So that bug never left, and I thought, let me do entrepreneurship in a space that I know. So I straight from Dar es Salaam, where I worked for 1 year after finishing my postgraduate, I came and worked in Upper Hill, strategically because I wanted to understand the market a bit more, and also to get a bit of traction in terms of the name. And subsequently, from after 8 months later, is when we set up Kitengela.
I love the way you speak about we and not you. You tell me about these strategic partners that you came up with. First of all, are they friends? Are they people who are from the medical field? And what is this that informed the choice of these strategic partners? Because we know in the business circle we need to form alliances that are beneficial to our ventures.
I believe, just like the Bible says, we're all members of one body. There's always, no one has it all. We keep learning and we keep growing every day. So when we started, I realized I had a passion, and at least I could get a loan for one of the equipment that we needed. But I didn't have the money to set up. So I strategically reached out to a friend who was then able to help us do the setup, because it is quite one of the challenges of medical care, especially diagnostic care, is a huge capital outlay that is required. So he was then able to help us with the infrastructure. But then the bigger part of the capital outlay is in the equipment. And ordinarily, most traditional financiers do not fund a startup. So I approached another friend who had an existing entity, who was kind enough with his team to give us corporate guarantee that then allowed us to get a loan to start the Kitengela outfit. So by God's grace, we were then able to service the loans thereof, and that built confidence in the market together with our suppliers, and through that we were then able to access credit subsequently, in addition to getting more partners on board to the business. Yeah, so one of my my partners to date is my wife. She's been a very key pillar in this journey. We started with her, and she was doing all the work. She was the receptionist, she was the housekeeper. I was the marketer, I was the radiologist, I was the driver. And I remember doing the marketing outside to try and sensitize people about what we do. And then coming back very quickly. When there's a patient, she'd call me and I would come and we had one computer, and I would tell her, hey, it's my turn to use the computer. So type the patient's report and then release that. So we've been growing by aligning ourselves strategically with people who have what we do not have. And it's not just the money, it's the ideas that are important. And the person who we started with sits on our board to date as an advisory board member. Aside from my wife, we have other partners. There's another doctor also called Dr. Diana that we worked with, and we started the Narok unit with her. She's also a radiologist. So because I felt that in case, for example, there's need for technical support, there needs to be someone who can also be able to drive the vision beyond me. So that has been our model. But we also have an advisory board that has a coach, a leadership coach. It has a serial entrepreneur who's really been very kind to walk the journey with us, even as we scale the business and grow. And then it has the marketing lead, and who is also a personal mentor to me.
If a medic comes and tells you that they too would want to do what you're doing, they're feeling they want to serve the community, and maybe they're employed by government right now or in another facility, but they want to go and do their own thing now, open their own facility, what would be this advice that you'd give them based on the experiences you've gone through, the challenges, the ups and downs of ensuring that these facilities are, operating to their optimum?
So the Bible speaks about, in Proverbs, it says, by wisdom a house is built, by understanding it is established. So it's very important to understand what you're doing. But even before that, it's important to align what you're doing with your purpose. Why are you doing what you're doing? And I would encourage them to align what God has called them to do. Because I have friends who are medics, but they're into counseling. There are others who are in FMCG, and they're medics. Even amongst our staff, we have people from diverse backgrounds, from engineers to people in media. And we have built an ecosystem that allows people to reach their full potential, because as long as they're following their purpose. So I'd encourage whoever is starting to follow your purpose. There are many areas in medicine. Plug into that area where you feel you're called. But most importantly, read and understand it, because there's the clinical side of treating a patient, but also there's the business side. Do you understand what it means? What is a balance sheet? What does it mean to have systems and structures in place? How do you manage people? Because people are everything. They're the ones who drive the vision and the business. So I would encourage them to take a step further, get a mentor and a coach who can help you with that journey. I'm privileged to have both. I believe as an entrepreneur, you need 4 people around you. One is a mentor, someone who will pull you up, who's been there, done that, who will pull you up. The other one is a coach, someone who will ask you the hard questions. And for me, my wife has been an excellent coach. She's very analytical. Before you make any move, she keeps asking me, have you thought about this? So I found it very useful. It's also important to have a peer, someone who challenges you. So that's the third person. So mentor, coach, peer. And then number 4 is a therapist. Because the journey can be tough, whether you're okay or not. You just need somebody you can talk to and share your experiences with.
Thank you so much. I am still nodding my head. Dr. Ojwang has is a wealth of wisdom that you have so much to learn from if you just sit and listen to. You can listen to him all day. Thank you so much for having us today at Premier Care Outpatient. This is the Syokimau branch. It has been an honor to listen to this story of this well-serving medical facility that is taking care of our communities right where they are. Listen to grassroots like Garissa and Narok and Loitoktok. Man, so much to learn from you. And as an entrepreneur, and on this end, we appreciate you. Thank you so much, sir, for having us as Hope TV to have this. You are our final episode for Lessons from the Entrepreneur in the year 2023. This is how we wrap this up. Thank you guys for allowing me to be your host on Lessons from the Entrepreneur. My name is Melissa Odor. Until 2024, God willing.